Welcome back to the PerformWell podcast. This is the podcast for you if you're looking for performance and wellness optimization so that you can not only smash your career, but also have a better life, better relationships, and better health. We believe that performance and wellness are yin and yang and work together. So listen in as we dive into topics that are going to help you optimize your life for the better. Welcome, guys, back to another podcast of You Wait, Not You Know What. Not You Know What. We're rebranding.
We have been rebranded.
We've just been to an event called PerformX, which, for those that don't know, is one of the events for the leading experts in performance and wellness.
Does indeed. I don't know why these aren't on, but hey ho.
And I've got to say, it kind of inspired us to change the name.
It did. We did sit down there for a bit, didn't we? And we were like, there's something not right. There's something not... There's just not...
I was like, Dan, you know what? There's something not right.
There I mean, it's still going to have the same backing to it, but we wanted a little bit more focus on the podcast and directing it to our viewers in more of a way that we can be beneficial and helpful, because we obviously want to deliver the best service at the end of the day.
And at the moment, we are already doing topics on performance, on wellness, on sleep, on training, on nutrition, on business. And so we named it.
Yeah, we named it and we changed it around. You'll have to let us know about the branding in the comments below. See if you like this new branding or prefer the old branding. We're going to be curious, obviously, either way.
They don't even know what we've named it yet. We haven't said it.
Well, we have just said it.
We haven't, though.
It's the title of the podcast.
It is. If they've seen the title, though, fair enough. But it might not have changed by then. Has it?
Well, of course it's changed by then.
We haven't done all the branding yet, have we?
We have done the branding.
No, because the logo still has You Know What on it.
Oh, no, but that'll change within today.
Anyway, if you've seen You Know What, this is not You Know What anymore. This is PerformWell podcast.
This is the PerformWell podcast for performance and wellness and improving entrepreneurs' lifestyles.
And not just entrepreneurs, high-level executives, people in management positions, anyone that is working their arse off to make it in their career, this is for you.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what does PerformWell mean? Obviously, this is not the title of today. Today is about sleep, but PerformWell, basically, the idea is we want you to perform well. We want you to perform better, feel good, look good, dominate in your career. And today we're going to help you do that by optimizing your sleep. So this is all about how to optimize your sleep for performance.
How many people out there do you think have a poor sleep routine?
Well, I don't know. A lot of people. 95%, 98%.
Close. 85% of individuals have a poor sleep routine. And if you are using Whoop or any kind of wearable like me and Nick's have here, then normally the average sleep score is between 6 to 7 out of 10.
Wait, is that just the Western?
That's countries? Whereas whoever ever has wearables, so it's a data collected across the board for wearable data.
So that means that if you wear a wearable, you're more likely to sleep better or worse compared to everyone else?
I don't know, because the thing is, it's hard, isn't it? Because you haven't actually got a comparison for people that don't wear them, but that's the average from data that's been collected. That's all we can base things on at the end of the day. We can't base things on anything more than that, to be totally honest. Yeah. But I find it interesting that so many people do struggle with sleep. And the interesting thing is, we've literally been running a challenge in the coaching lab this last month, which has helped to improve my sleep personally. Now, some key parameters for sleep. We want to start off with kind of stage one. When we're thinking about improving sleep, what are we doing for step one? What are we doing?
Well, first of all, what's important? First, we've got to ask why sleep is so important for performance. Why is it people that sleep, don't have good sleep have a bad day, and why is it people that have good sleep have a good day? On average. And the reason why is because sleep is important for things such as cognitive performance. Such as consolidating memories, physical recovery, so that you feel good. There's many factors to sleep that makes it important for performance.
You got to think it takes a dampening effect on the nervous system as well. A lot of people that I've got clients coming in and training with me on a one-to-one basis, they'll come in if they've had a poor night's sleep, and their performance in the session will be poor. And then we're talking about drops in overall performance throughout the day as well. So you have to factor in that sleep is one of the biggest pillars to driving it forward. So for me personally, sleep is a core pillar. If I don't get my 7 to 8 hours, I don't function up to that 10 out of 10 standard that I want to deliver to people. And I think people out there watching this have got to understand that you need to prioritize it. While the rise and the grind is great, we need to understand factors that are actually going to improve our performance. We've spoken to many business owners on this podcast who have said they've worked 14-hour days, done 6 hours sleep. But that's not efficiency.
Mate, there's a lot of people that will say that, okay, but I have 5 hours of sleep and I'm getting stuff done. It's like, okay, cool, right. How much of that stuff are you getting done is done correctly? Like, how much of the stuff you're doing is actually effective? Like, are you actually pushing things forward, or are you just busy and nothing's actually moving forward?
Busy's a big buzzword, isn't it? Then?
Yeah. Well, most people are going to be, doing stuff, feeling like they're productive, and then realize at the end of the month, end of the year, that nothing's moved, nothing's changed, and they think, oh, my sleep's fine, 5 hours a night, waking up with blurry eyes, caffeinated to absolute new levels of caffeine. I know. It's just stupid.
Well, this is actually an interesting point because we learned a lot of information from Phil Lerney. Phil Lerney was fantastic in terms of informing us of different areas of sleep, and this is what we want to deliver to you guys. So we do want to make a big point on this podcast that everything we learn will deliver back to you, and it's free information at the end of the day for watching for half an hour of your day, and you would have improved your life by at least.
Less than that. This is a 15 and 20 minute podcast, mate.
There you go.
You guys are going to get so much value. Honestly, I don't even know what you. Just listen in.
Just listen. Tune in.
Stage 1, consistency. Now, this is what you were saying at the beginning before, obviously, just explain what sleep was, because a lot of people don't understand why it's important. It really is. Stage 1 is consistency. So we're going to go through a list of things. You're probably going to tick off a few of these, but if you're not ticking off stage 1, you're going to leave a lot of your sleep duration and quality on the table. You need to make sure you get this stuff done first. So the first one is making sure you have the same wake up and sleep time. Circadian rhythm is what starts releasing melatonin, makes you feel sleepy, makes you get into sleep quicker and come out of it quicker. And if you're not going to bed at the same time and you're not waking up at the same time, you're not going to have a very switched on circadian rhythm. You're going to find it hard to sleep. You're going to find it hard to sleep well, and you're going to find it hard to wake up feeling good.
Now, the important thing to remember with sleeping up and wake up times. Now, for people like myself and Nick who wake up early most days of the week, we're most likely going to want to lie in on weekends. So sometimes you've got to be realistic and say, actually, I'm not going to be in the perfect routine. I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. on a Saturday morning. I'm sorry, but I'm not. I have no reason to get up at 5 a.m. on a Saturday morning. So for me, I'm going to lay in a little bit. I'm going to spend a little bit more time with my partners and social life. So if that is the case with you, don't become so anal and fixated on having to go to bed at this time that you're damaging other areas of your life. Remember, life's about trade-offs, not just solutions. Okay, so always balance it in. When Nick was talking about circadian rhythm there, the thing that's important is the same as we say with anything, hormone balance, big time. Hormone balance is huge, and that's where our melatonin and adenosine come in. And I think Nick will talk a little bit more on those.
Well, first of all, I mean, obviously on the consistency, we've got the same wake up and sleep time, but we also need to be thinking about the hours in the bed, because we need 7 to 9 hours of sleep is what we're recommended. Okay, when you're a kid, you need to sleep more, and when you're an adult, you need to sleep less, and when you're an elderly adult, you need to sleep even less. So for most people listening to this, you're going to be in the adult category. So 7 to 9 hours is what we're looking for. That's 7 to 9 hours of sleep. That's not 7 to 9 hours in bed, which means that you need to be in bed before, the time that you actually want to sleep for. Now, a lot of people are going to find it hard to find the time. They're like, well, I like to go to bed at 11 p.m. or 12 p.m. I've got to get way up early. And, at some point, you've got to call the bullshit out and just say, well, you can't do this forever. You do need to find time at the end of your day or the beginning of your day to make that duration up. Just get it done. There are ways around it, okay? If you are someone that is working till 10 p.m. and you're waking up at 5 a.m., you need to change your time management, and you need to change the work you're doing to suit your sleep better. You can't neglect this area just because you've put yourself into a work schedule that is beneficial to you. You have to figure out a way to get that sleep.
I want to factor in something there as well, that a lot of the time when we talk about kind of getting that 7 to 9 hours, it is that resting time before. Wearables, I go back to it again, are fantastic for helping cut off time. There's literally a sleep function on most Apple Watches and other functions that basically default so you have no notifications coming through for, say, 45 minutes before you go to bed. And it's so important. One of the big factors that I think people forget about as well is primarily that when you are looking at getting those 7 to 9 hours, people always find little things to do in the evening. And I think it's almost putting themselves off getting a good sleep routine. You could even argue it's self-destructive in some ways. One of the big policies that I have is I personally turn around and say nothing good happens after 9 p.m. And that applies primarily to our 9 till 5 workers out there that work your average working day. Because, name one good thing that happens after 9 p.m.
You're talking to me?
Yeah. The only other person in the room.
Don't know. I thought you were carrying on a monologue or something now. So say again.
So one thing good that happens past 9 p.m.
Sleep.
Well, yes.
TV,
apart from sleep.
Xbox.
But are they actually good
other
things?
Activities.
But are they beneficial towards
other extracurricular activities, mate? They are very beneficial. I don't know where you're going with the 9 p.m. thing, but...
So that's one of the big factors. For me, in my head, when I go, anything happens past 9 p.m., I go out and drink. Yeah. I have a takeaway. Yeah. I sit and watch a movie that's not really improving my life. I know it's wind down time, but normally past 9 o'clock when you could be getting sleep.
Yep.
Sleep's going to be more beneficial throughout the next day rather than those things. It's an argued point, and I'm saying this more towards our 9 till 5 because I understand shift workers out there. You're going to be in a little bit of a time zone. So say if you are working in a big job past 9 p.m, fair play to you. Like I appreciate the work. And actually, I did want to interject one point.
What?
We learned about this with shift workers.
What's up?
And it was what Phil Lerney said. Phil Lerney turned around and said, shift work is the new cancer.
Well, I mean, that is definitely a topic that we could talk about. But, mate, it's nowhere near the same, is it, really?
What, in terms of shift work? But it's like...
Well, no, he's talking about circadian rhythm. So when you were saying earlier about, getting up at 5 a.m. Monday to Friday and then having a lie-in on the weekend, that technically makes you a shift worker. Even though you want to lie in, technically, your circadian rhythm doesn't know the difference. So it's still going to find it struggling to, wake you up at 5 a.m. on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, if the weekend you're laying in. And there was a lot of, issues with sleep deprivation, which can lead to metabolism being lower. It can lead to other issues such as obesity, cardiovascular disease, diabetes. And this is not necessarily the cause. It's normally, associated with other things as well. But it could be the reason why you're struggling with certain things. So it's always worth to resolve those issues.
Apologies for interrupting the podcast. We know you're getting fully engrossed into this episode, and we really appreciate you stopping on the video on YouTube or on Spotify if you found us through one of the search pages. Make sure to leave a review and a subscription if you haven't already. But we just wanted to interject a point here that me and Nick have 15 years of coaching experience between us, and it's only getting better as we've got better guests on the podcast. The only way we can do that, though, is with the growth of our program that we've just released. We've got a 12-month PerformWell program, which has just dropped, and we'd love you guys to get involved in it. If you want to learn more details, make sure to head to the description, as we've got our website in there, which can give you a full overlay of the program. We're looking to help career-driven professionals, entrepreneurs, small business owners, and anyone dominate their life by improving their lifestyle. Me and Nick like to claim ourselves as experts in this area, and if you want to check out some of our other transformations, I'm sure you do. We've got some amazing people who have performed so well off the back of this program. Have a cracking day, and we really appreciate your time. Let's get back to the podcast. Very true. Very true. Now, going back onto that kind of stage one, we've spoken about getting to sleep at the same time, getting 7 to 9 hours. The other important thing is having a cool, dark, and quiet environment. Now, I know a lot of people can fall asleep watching the TV, but let's put that in perspective. A lot of people that do that are normally sleep deprived before they do it. They're tired. You're exhausted. We talk about coolness. Now, what is the importance of actually the temperature of the room when you're falling asleep?
Do you know what? I'm not even too sure on the science of that one. It's just that, what it's like sleeping in a warm environment. It's very hard to sleep. Right? How many times do you wake up in the middle of the night in deep summer when you're sweating, under the bed covers and you can't get to sleep? Just common sense. Get yourself into a cool environment and see how much better you sleep. That's just from what I've experienced myself. But obviously, when it comes to darkness, we need melatonin production to be at its highest. Any light can hesitate. What's the word? Make it hard for your body to produce melatonin. So we want to make sure that's dark, and obviously making sure it's quiet as well. I
think it's
pretty self-explanatory, guys. Common sense. Use some common sense.
But that's why I think there's a lot of triple glazed windows in big cities as well these days. Anyway, moving on to stage 2. We've spoken about stage 1 there. If you've ticked some boxes there, if you've got a pen and paper out and you're working along with us, then we appreciate it. Stage 2, optimization. Now, Nick, I know you like a bit of sleep optimization, and I know you know your magnesium. So, what does magnesium? Why are we supplementation?
I actually forgot the specific magnesium.
Glycinate.
That's the one. Right, so magnesium can help you get into deeper sleep. Now, this is actually something that can happen quite quickly as well. So if you start taking it today, you can actually see the effects instantly, throughout the first night. I'm not sure if one of our clients
Yes, it was one of our clients in the coaching lab who was having an issue with their sleep, and you prescribed them to have magnesium glycinate to help improve their sleep because they were struggling. And magnesium is a big factor.
Bosh.
Yeah, it's not a plaster over the top of it, but it gives you that kind of, it's almost having caffeine at night. It gives you that performance boost for your sleep. That's the whole point of it. See it that way. It's basically boosting your sleep performance over time. Now, we go into caffeine there because I just mentioned it. And how many people watching this pod have about 3 cups of coffee a day? I mean, I don't personally. I know you love your coffee as well, but
I've had 3 or 4 days.
Exactly. Yeah. But, you bang them in before 12 o'clock, so then you're going to be running the high into the evening. Now, we've spoken about caffeine, we've spoken about half-lives, you've probably heard it a million times before, but caffeine before 12 p.m., there's a reason for this, and that's because as we come into the afternoon, we hit what we'll call our afternoon slump, and where a lot of people will be working those 9 till 5s, or they'll be working, say, the 8 till 4s. When we get to about 2-3 o'clock, your production, called our sleep urge, goes up, and that's when our alertness starts to drop. So a lot of people are tempted to have caffeine about 3 p.m, aren't they? I know I am, so I go for a decaf. But bear in mind that sleep urge is perfectly natural and part of the cycle, because that will go back down again and your alertness will go back up for the evening, and then you'll start to drop into sleep, obviously. Now, how, in terms of caffeine, would you think it's a good idea for somebody out there who likes their coffee to maybe have like a stronger coffee, one coffee in the morning, or spreading it out throughout the morning? Well,
I mean, it's self-explanatory. One strong coffee in the morning is more than enough to get you going. You can have 2. In fact, it doesn't matter. Like as long as you're having it in a window in the morning where you're not going to have the half-life affect your sleep, go for it. Have 2, have 3. Generally, though, the more caffeine you have, the harder it's going to be in the evening, because it's almost like robbing you of the ability to sleep later on, and the more you have, the worse it is. But generally, if you are someone that's used to 2 or 3 and you can sleep fine, or you feel like you sleep fine anyway, just limit it to a window before 12 p.m.
You got to bear in mind
that's the first step.
Caffeine works. It has the same shaping as adenosine. Adenosine is what makes us tired, makes us feel sleepy throughout the day, and then caffeine basically blocks the receptors. When we're talking about adenosine blockers, this is what caffeine does, because it's the same shape as adenosine. Caffeine has that 6-hour window in which it's half-life. So say you have 60 milligrams of caffeine, which is in the average shot of coffee, you're still going to have 30 milligrams of caffeine. Say you've had that at, I don't know, 10 o'clock in the morning, then by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you've still got 30 milligrams of caffeine, and that's still going to impact your melatonin production, your adenosine. So you've got to factor that into your evenings. Now, This is a big point, and I've started to implement this like amazingly in the last year. No screens 30 minutes before bed. Now, you could extend that to an hour before bed, which is what I tend to do. I give myself an hour, but I think that's because I'm always on my phone for work. So posting content, I'm making sure my emails are all good. If I've got any messages from clients, I have a temptation to reply. How important is that for the everyday person?
Well, look, no screen 30 minutes before bed is the optimization stage. It does go up to an hour for the next stage, which we're not going to talk about in a second. But any blue light, any screen, any light going into the eye is going to delay melatonin production. On top of that, if you look at the screen that you're using, how much of that screen time is spent on social media or emails or stuff that keeps your alertness up, push you into a cortisol-induced state, which makes it harder to fall asleep. Any screen is just worth removing, even if it's Netflix and you're watching a movie. Once again, it's the light going into your eyes. It's the TV keeping you alert. We want to reduce that 30 minutes before bed. And so best thing to do is you can stay in bed maybe and watch something 30 minutes before, and then turn it off and then spend 30 minutes just resting before you doze off. That's also good. Or you can read a book. You can do something like that. But
some people do argue the point about TVs having blue light as well, but I think we've got to factor in, and again, Phil only said this in his talk, that the TV screen is normally much further away from you than what our phones are. Our phones, you're probably getting almost the full light spectrum going into your eyes, whereas TVs are so much further away that the actual distance between the two is negligible at most. And that's why when sometimes you're watching TV, you can fall asleep in the background. So watching TV is absolutely fine. It's just when you're sat there on a laptop or a phone that's very close to your body, you could get like blue light glasses, but to be honest,
all light is putting light in your eyes.
Yeah.
Even blue light. So even not blue light. Even if you've got blue light glasses, you're still getting light in your eyes. Yeah. Come on, think about it. Think about your brain, man. It's going to look at light and it's thinking, shit, it's daytime.
It's daytime.
You know, that's what it's doing. And then obviously the more, the worse it is. Next level is stage 3. So only once you ticked off these, now you start focusing on these. Now, relaxation routine before you go to bed, super important. Now, relaxation routine is very personal depending on you. You might find yoga, meditation, journaling, having a warm shower, having a cold shower. I don't know, whatever you prefer having for relaxation. You need some kind of routine that's going to relax your body, and doing those things can help. Now, which one you choose depends on which you've done before and what you're more comfortable with going forward.
Everyone's routine is different. Okay, there's one of the big things that I have started to implement now, which is clearing out my lymphatic system, which is basically a routine where you put your legs up on the wall for 10 minutes and then allow the blood to drain out your legs. Psychologically, it's apparently meant to clear the body. I have found it does help. It's almost like having a mini nap, but not a nap at the same time, because it helps me relax. But you need a routine that works for you. So for me personally, I come in from work, I put my phone down on the side. I don't argue. I don't go on there. I don't respond. I go and put everything away. And then what I do is I get my clothes out for the next day. So I'm pre-prepared for the next day. I know I haven't got to stress in the morning to get up and sort that. Then I do a little bit of journaling, and then I read a book. That's my evening routine. I normally have about an hour before I go to bed. Jobs are good, but you need a routine that fits into your evening. So bear that in mind.
And then the next stage is no screens an hour before bed. Now we're leveling it up, because I gave you guys half an hour before that just to get you kind of warmed up into the idea of no screens before bed. Now we're going for the full swing, 1 hour. Okay, now you got to really think about it. Luckily for you though, you can implement your relaxation routine during that hour, so win-win. Journaling a task and thoughts. This is the one that we gave Arian to do. And most people, I say to them, journal before you go to bed, and they don't believe me. They don't think it's going to help. They don't realize that their mental stress is causing them lack of sleep until they start journaling. And journaling could be writing down your thoughts for the day. It could be writing down your tasks for the next day. But getting it out of your head onto paper can literally clear your mind and allow your body to fall asleep quicker. And I have seen this happen multiple times with multiple people, including myself. It bloody works. So if you're someone that doesn't journal and you don't write what you're supposed to do the next day, and you're not taking what's in here and putting it onto paper, promise you it will help. Just try it, and even better, write it into a book, because there's no screens. You can relax, you can write, bosh.
I said this in another podcast ages ago, but I said Kevin Hart was one of the biggest indicators for me to start journaling. The man is one of the most successful actors and comedians in the world, and he journals himself to produce better results, because it is like a brain dump. You're dumping everything from the day that you've just had, putting it on a page, and then closing it afterwards, and you're not having any relevance to it. So honestly, people like Kevin Hart are doing it. You should do it too.
100%. Guys, that's it. That's the 3 levels. Start with consistency, work from there. Consistency is making sure you have the same wake up and make sure you have the same wake up and sleep time. 7 to 9 hours recommended. A cool, dark, quiet environment. And then look at stage 2 going forward, which is magnesium supplementation, no caffeine past 12, and then no screens 30 minutes before bed. And if you nail that, then we recommend looking more at a relaxation routine, no screens an hour before bed, and also journaling your thoughts or your tasks for the next day.
Just see it as upgrading. Get the things in foundation first, then upgrade later down the line. We really appreciate you guys watching the podcast, and thank you for watching PerformWell today. First episode of PerformWell. We're getting used to that.
Does this still count as season 2 episode?
It still counts.
12?
It still counts.
Is it?
Yeah, it still counts. Still counts. We're going again. We're not starting over again, but we appreciate. Can you guys let us know what you think of the branding? Let us know what you think about the new name, and let us know any guests you want us to get on the podcast, because we are reaching out to so many experts. Mate, we've got a long list of people, and they are
got a lot of people coming on.
Time.
Got a lot of people coming on. So you guys are going to be surprised.
You are. You're going to be like, how the hell have you got these people? We got one person who's a little insider, knows Kim Kardashian. You're trying to remember who it is now, aren't you? I'm not going to spoil who it is, but we've got someone who knows Kim Kardashian coming on soon.
I don't think that's a good thing, mate, to be honest with you.
You never know. We might have the Kardashians on here at some point in time. Yeah, I wish. All right, thank you guys. We appreciate you watching. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe for everything. If you're over on Spotify, please drop 5 stars. We appreciate all the reviews that you guys leave. All you've got to do is tap that button, and then make sure to save the episodes that you want to watch. Listen to them in your car, listen to them at home, give them to your baby, give them to your nan, give them to your dog. I don't care. Please help us out. We appreciate it.
Your baby.
Your baby. And make sure to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you later.
Take care. Ciao, ciao.